Hello, my viewer there. Teacher Dishon, welcome to my class. That is a Standard 7 Science. Today we want to learn about types of fertilizers. But then before that, let us try to remind ourselves what fertilizers are. We can say that fertilizers are special organic or inorganic substances that are added to the soil to make it more fertile for healthy plant growth. Now, when it comes to types of fertilizers, we are saying that we have only two types of fertilizers. Only two types of fertilizers. We have what we call the natural fertilizers, and then we have the artificial fertilizers. So, under the types of fertilizers, we have the natural fertilizers, and then two, we have the artificial fertilizers. Natural and artificial fertilizers. Let us start by looking at the natural fertilizers. So we move ahead and look at the natural fertilizers. I'm saying that natural fertilizers are also known as organic fertilizers. So we may call them natural or organic fertilizers. We are looking at the types of fertilizers. We are seeing that we have only two types. That is a natural and artificial fertilizers. Natural. We are also seeing that natural fertilizers are also known as organic fertilizers. These natural or organic fertilizers are also known as manures. Sometimes we may call them manures. So when you come across a term like manures, we simply mean the natural or the organic fertilizers. We call them organic because they can easily decompose, they can easily rot and produce nutrients. They are locally made back at home. We just make them locally at home using the readily available materials. For example, we may use plant remains, we can use ash, we can use animal droppings like cow dung and urine. Then we can also use vegetable peelings. So we just use the locally available materials back at home to make the natural or the organic fertilizers, bearing in mind that they are also known as manures. Okay, we normally call them organic because they easily rot. These natural or organic fertilizers, the materials we use for making them, they easily rot or decompose. They easily rot, or you can say they easily decompose. In science, it is advisable we use decompose, leave alone the rot. But I hope you understand what it means. They easily decay, rot, or decompose. But then I'm saying it's good to use decompose. They easily decompose to release nutrients. Now, we are saying that under these natural or organic fertilizers, we have four types of organic or the natural fertilizers. Four types of organic or the natural fertilizers. So I'll have to move ahead and look at the types of natural fertilizers. I'm saying we have only four. Number one, we have green manure. And then number two, we have compost manure. Compost manure. And then number three, we have what we call the farmyard manure. Farmyard manure. And then number four, we have what we call the organic mulches. Organic mulches. Now we want to look at them one after the other. Remember, I've said that we have four types of natural fertilizers. That is green manure, compost manure, farmyard manure, and organic manures. Organic mulches. So now I want to move ahead and look at the green manure. Let us deal with green manure. We are saying that just from the word green, We normally make them back at home using green plants. We just use green plants. In most cases, these plants should be leguminous. They should be leguminous plants. That is, they should have high nitrogen content. High nitrogen content. How is it made? How is the green manure made? Very simple. We are saying that you just plant some crops in your shamba. Then, as they are nearing flowering stage, just about to flower, you come and cut them down, you chop them into small pieces, then you plow them back into the shamba. You spread them in the shamba, then you can come with a tractor, or just even using a jembe, then you plow them into the soil. That means you bury them in the soil. After that, you give them some time to decompose. They will take around 2 weeks to decompose. Right? That's how green manure is made. Very simple. You plant some crops in your shamba. Then, as they are about to flower, you come and cut them down. You chop them into small pieces. Then you bury them in the ground. That's how green manure is made. Let us look at the examples of plants that you can use to make green manure. What are some of the plants that you can use to make green manure? We are making green manure. Remember, we have said that these ones are normally made locally at home, just back at home, using the readily available materials like plant remains. We have ash, you know ash, yes. Then we have vegetable peelings and animal droppings. So under that, we have said that we have 4 types of natural fertilizers: green manure, compost manure, farmyard manure, and organic mulches. So we are dealing with green manure. So I'm saying there are some plants or crops that we use to make the green manure. A good example is just maize. I just use maize. You can use napier grass. You can also use something like a sorghum. Yes, sorghum is also another good one. Then you can use the legumes. Do you still remember some of the leguminous plants? Yes, I hope you do. Where we have different leguminous plants. For example, we have beans. We have cowpeas. We have groundnuts. We have lucerne, and so on. Those are examples of leguminous plants. So you're saying that all these plants that we have listed here can be used in preparation of green manure. Now let me look at the characteristics of plants to be used in making green manure. What are some of the qualities that the plants used for making green manure should have? That's what we call qualities of plants to be used in making green manure. And number one, we are saying that they should be leguminous. Just as you have said here, legumes. Number one is that they should be leguminous. These plants should be leguminous. Why are we preferring on leguminous? It's because legumes or the leguminous plants are able to tap nitrogen from air and convert it into nitrates used in making proteins. You see, that's why in most cases plants for making green manure are legumes, because legumes can easily tap nitrogen from the air, convert it into nitrates, then use it to make proteins. So number one, under the qualities of plants to be used in making green manure is that they should be leguminous. And examples of leguminous plants, you know them. And then number two, on the qualities of plants to be used in making green manure is that these plants should be leafy. They should be leafy. That means they should have very many leaves. Many leaves. When we say that a plant is leafy, it means it has very many leaves. Remember, these leaves are the ones to be chopped into pieces, buried into the ground. they decompose and release nutrients to the crops. So they should be leafy. Then the other one is that they should be able to grow very fast. They should be able to grow very fast. So we are talking of they should have fast growth. Fast growth. I mean, they should grow rapidly, very fast. Then the other one is that they should be able to decompose fast. These plants should be able to decompose very fast. Remember, to decompose simply means to rot or to decay. When they decompose, that is, they will release nutrients to their crops. Then lastly, we are saying that they should have high nitrogen content. They should have what? High nitrogen content. Have high nitrogen content. Remember, when we were looking at the nutrients, we said that we have two types of nutrients, plant nutrients. That is, we have the macro and the micro. Whereby we said that the macro are the major, those needed by plants in large amounts. So we are saying that when you are now making a green manure, your plants to be used in making the green manure should have high nitrogen content. And when we mentioned, when we gave the examples of macronutrients, we talked of something like nitrogen. So you realize that these plants to be used in making green manure should have high nitrogen content. Those are some of the qualities of plants to be used in making green manure. Number one, I've said that they should be legumes. I'm looking at the qualities of plants to be used in making green manure. I'm saying that number one is that they should be legumes. They should be leguminous plants in most cases. And you know examples of leguminous plants. Then number two, I would say that those plants should be leafy, meaning that they should have very many leaves. And then number three is that they should have fast growth. Those plants to be used in making green manure should grow rapidly, should grow very quickly. Then the other one, number four, is that they should decompose very fast. And lastly, they should have high nitrogen content. Then up to there, I have a note for you. A note. There is something that I want you to note. We are saying that these green manures take the longest time to release nutrients. Among the four natural fertilizers, we are saying that this green manure here takes the longest time before releasing nutrients to the crops. Why so? Why do you think it should be that way? Yes, because first of all, you have to plant the crops. Then before they flower, you come and cut them, chop them into pieces, bury them into the ground. Then you wait for also 2 weeks before they release nutrients to the crops. That's why they take the longest time. So when we ask for which organic fertilizer takes the longest time before releasing nutrients to the crops, you give us green manure. Then I'm also saying, under the note, we're also saying that it is also the most expensive way of preparing fertilizers. It's very expensive because remember, you have to prepare your shamba. You come and plant the leguminous plants there. You wait for them to reach the flowering stage. Then you come and cut them into pieces and plow them into the land, into the shamba again, before they release nutrients. So it is also the most expensive method of preparing organic fertilizers. Thank you. Catch me next on compost manure.